on, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets Haber. We have potentially the last NBA slate of the season, and we're going to try and do a quick show on see what we can do. Sheets, why don't you bring up your screen and we can talk a little bit about some potentially good GPP options. Before we do, it's a 4.5 point spread, and I like Milwaukee here. I said after they were down 2-0, there was a lot of advanced stuff that looked like it was going to break back their way. I really didn't believe the series was over. I didn't feel the need to bet on it, but I did have my friend parlay the games 3, 4, and 5 together. So good for him. He made a nice little win on that. I didn't go any further. I like Milwaukee to win the series tonight. It wouldn't surprise me. They execute so poorly down the stretch that if it's close, that somehow Phoenix would get them. But I think overall, all the numbers in the series are so slanted towards Milwaukee at the moment, and it's going to take a really lights out shooting, in my opinion, for Phoenix to win this game, or Milwaukee just to be totally incompetent in some facet. So that's my take. Who do you like to win the game? And then let's talk about some plays.
Yeah, one of us is going to win because we're going to have 50 cents on this one. I'm going to take Phoenix plus the 4.5 against Bobby for 50 cents.
Okay.
And we're gonna see what happens. I think it goes to a game 7. I think Phoenix comes up with a big effort, and then the season continues. That's gonna be that's my take. What are we gonna do showdown wise tonight, and what might be the last game of the last slate of the season?
So it's hard to try to figure out exactly how to get different, because right now we have a really tight rotation on Milwaukee. And I am trying to figure out how to get the other, who I would want to take the longer shots on. I love the way Connaughton's been playing, just from a regular basketball standpoint. He's been obviously a huge boost for them. It's still not like he's putting up massive fantasy totals. So I would say that if you're going to decide in that range between a guy like he and Portis, I would take Portis for the upside, even though Connaughton I expect to finish ahead of Portis fairly consistently here. I also think I can't bring myself to play Brook Lopez. It's tempting. He even played the minutes a little bit in the last game, or some of them, but they're just so much worse with him on the court. They're minus 25 in the series. It would be hard for me to imagine that Bud is going to keep sticking with him out there for more than 22 to 26 minutes, maybe. Even that, I don't know if that's even necessary, except for they just don't have enough other bodies. PJ Tucker is going to play minutes. There's an option. I'm just sort of talking through my ideas. He's been so awful per minute as usual, but there's always certainly a chance that he could, hit a couple threes, get a few rebounds. He's the cheap option I like the best. There's Jeff Teague, who's getting minutes in the finals, which is really unbelievable, and probably will continue to tonight, but is just putting up absolutely nothing. He is 2K. I don't expect Forbes to be in the rotation tonight unless they're down big. Maybe if you're playing the long shot thing, maybe that is something you could do. If somehow Phoenix got up really, really big, there's a chance you could bring Forbes in. Maybe Connaughton and, let's say, Middleton are both in foul trouble. You might get Forbes off the bench shooting threes. That's the only thing on the Milwaukee side. I think you're playing Giannis in every lineup. I don't think you should even consider not playing Giannis. And I think that playing Drew Holiday over Middleton is going to be a little bit less popular than the other way around, but I like all three of them. And Holiday's really been doing a good job, even though he has missed shots in some games. He's been doing a really, really good job all over the place. So that's my thought. I thought in order of breaking it down, I just would break down the Milwaukee side first. But I'm gonna have two of Giannis and Middleton, or Giannis and Holiday in every lineup. That's where I'm at. How about you on the Milwaukee side? Then we'll talk about.
So we're going to talk about basketball for a second, because we didn't talk about it after the last game. So as a coach, I impress upon, when I used to coach, I impressed upon the players on the team to kind of know your roles, and and maybe you might not like your role, but you have to embrace your role or whatever, and to realize where the points come from, where everything else comes from, and you never know when you're going to be called upon to make a hustle play and to do whatever, and people just sometimes they yawn, they roll their eyes or whatever it is. Oh, that's just coach telling me I suck, whatever it is. But no, and if they go on to win this freaking championship, I mean, look, Drew Holiday, when he was in different roles, he was looked upon as a leading scorer of teams and whatever it is. And he came to Milwaukee in a totally different situation, and he made freaking back-to-back freaking hustle plays that may very well have won them the championship. You know, like he got that strip followed by the pass, followed by the literally statistically uncredited play where he kept that rebound alive after Giannis missed it. Someone else actually got the rebound, but he's the one that actually tipped it or whatever. And, you know, good for him, man. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the, for those of you that have kids or after that, you just show them that, because you just never know in what situation something other than scoring and something other than whatever is just going to just really just be what's needed. So for the one guy that you mentioned that's showing up in some of my kind of like weird builds is Jeff Teague. And I can't think of a reason why. I mean, like you said, he gets 12 minutes or whatever it is and just does literally nothing. But I guess when you're building these showdown lineups, you're just going to have to play one of those guys, right? I mean, like, so which of those guys are you going to play? Are you going to play Forbes, like you said? You're going to play Torrey Craig, PJ Tucker? You know, PJ Tucker will play minutes, right? Torrey Craig, maybe is Torrey Craig a better play than Teague?
Well, I didn't talk about the Phoenix side yet. I do think.
Okay.
I do think Torrey Craig is a worse play than Tucker. I mean, I don't know. Like, unless they change something up and really find a way to play Craig more minutes. But who's he taking minutes from? Bridges, right. Crowder, Cam Johnson, is Payne. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Maybe because they need it defensively, you could see that adjustment tonight. But I'm having trouble seeing that one exactly. I do have him on my list, but I have the other guys ahead of him a little bit. I also have him as being a little bit higher owned than the other guys I like. And I would rather play Payne or Cameron Johnson at a little bit of a higher price than Torrey Craig. And I think you could do that. Chris Paul doesn't seem right to me. And even though I know the numbers looked fine in the last game, he's just not right. And he seems deferent. He seems like he's leaning a little bit on, like, there's times where I've seen him tell Campaign to go ahead and shoot. It's strange because, you know, it's for them, their elimination game. So you expect them to put their best foot forward all the time, which you'd think would take guys like Payne out or even maybe Cam Johnson. But actually Cam Johnson has been really, really good for them. And I think Cam Johnson and Payne skipping Crowder and Bridges, even though they're more skipping Crowder. And then maybe the one guy you can get really low ownership on that is going to play is Bridges because of his price. It's been a while in this series. It's been since game 2 that he put up that 40 fantasy point game, but he can always get hot and he's going to have the opportunity to play minutes. I still believe in him as a defender. I also know that coming from Phoenix's thing, they might have to change something. And maybe that thing they change is getting Torrey Craig on the floor a little bit more. At the same time, their offense has been stagnant and relied a lot on Devin Booker. Maybe they get Campaign those minutes. So it's sort of between those guys, in my opinion, that I'm thinking about. And I don't think you absolutely have to play Booker. I think you do have to play one of Booker, Paul, or Ayton, probably 2 of them if you can. Ayton would be my preferred for safety. And upside, obviously, he's got it too. But in this kind of a game, you'd think that they would say, put the ball in Chris Paul's hands, but we've seen what Drew Holiday does to disrupt him there. And he just doesn't look like he has the burst to absolutely take advantage of it right now. So I guess I would say Ayton and Booker would be my favorite too. And Booker will be a little bit lower owned than the other ones will be. So that's sort of the way that I'm leaning, just because of the price is a little bit more. So go ahead, Sheets.
Yeah, no, I did a 20 lineup thing, which I've done literally every showdown slate in the playoffs since there've been no actual, 2-game slates or whatever it is.
Right.
Or whatever. And what I came up with is actually kind of interesting. The only guy I have close to 100% of, I got 95 of both Chris Paul and Ayton.
Interesting.
Those are the 2 guys I have. I actually have 50% of my lineups with no Giannis. So we'll see what so I know. Last time I said that, you know what you said? You said, "Good luck to you," and then
yeah.
And yeah, it certainly makes sense. And I have 0 of him in captain. So we'll see. We'll see. It definitely is. Like I said, it's what's it, 20 times 25? So maybe it's $500 down the drain. 20 times 25, whatever it is. But that based on my projections and with the upside using the Sabres, something I'm cranking it out. That is what I came up with. I also end up with 45% Jeff Teague, right? So of course, who else is going to have as much Jeff Teague as Giannis? That makes sense, right? Doesn't that make sense to most people?
The same player.
But exactly, when they're on the court, I'm not going to be able to tell which one is which. So it's going to be whatever. I do like Payne. Cam Johnson. It's just a matter of how you construct these things, I guess. But for me, it's Ayton. I guess Ayton and Paul. I just think that whether he's right or not, I think it's just, it's gonna be on the court until he falls over today. You know what I mean? Like this is they just got to do it.
Yep.
Whatever it's got to be. I mean, him and Booker are going to be on the court for 48 minutes. You know what I mean? Like however much they can physically take. And like you said, maybe physically you just can't take it. And says, okay, Cameron, it's all you, baby. It's possible. Yeah, I don't see exactly how Teague is going to get there for me. But that's exactly where I am right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be begging for 8 points or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, I want to say, like, I really think that you can try to. The one guy who's going to be low owned, that's going to be a regular, is going to, and even though his price is more expensive and everything, he's just
Connaughton?
No, it's going to be Mikal Bridges, because no one wants to play him at that price.
Yeah.
But I just would remind everybody, like, he's going to have the opportunity, and that's really all we can ask for if we're trying to get different. Yeah. And I would actually go so far as to say, with a guy like him or even Crowder, maybe what you can try and do is try and play the rest of these guys and try and use those guys as a captain and hope you get that 40. They both have 40 fantasy point games in this series. If you can get 40 out of one of those guys and Giannis gets 60, the price difference will allow you to play other guys. And I think that's a route that you could consider going. And with Bridges, you don't even need to captain him. I mean, you could, but he's going to be low owned anyway. So I do think including him is an interesting way to go. I just can't quite figure out the Teague love exactly. I understand the price, but there's
no love. It's just, there's only like 10 guys, 15 guys you can play on the whole slate. You know what I mean? You're just going to come up in some. That's it.
Yeah. I'm just going to make sure if whatever lineups I have are going to have Payne and Johnson together, or Bridges.
That makes sense.
Or Bridges and Payne, maybe Bridges and Johnson, which seems like it goes counters each other. It actually makes some sense, because if Crowder gets in foul trouble, which is always a possibility, things like that are what I'm trying to do. But I'm still having trouble. And again, I'll talk about this later on today before lock, because I'm interested in watching this game. I've actually enjoyed this series.
Yeah.
But it is hard to figure out. And also, I know I said that doesn't make any sense to me why Brook Lopez would make sense. He can always get hot, though. Again, these guys, anybody who's going to have the opportunity can get hot and keep themselves on the court. And if Brook Lopez can put up, 35 fantasy points, which is totally possible, you're going to be in, I don't think people are going to be looking that direction. So if you play Bridges and Brook Lopez together, you're certainly going to be in a minority. But I like Milwaukee to win the series. Also, I have my Milwaukee to win the 3 teams I bet on before the season. I have Milwaukee at, plus 950 to win the title.
Oh, nice.
So that would be nice.
Okay.
I don't have Phoenix to win the title, even though I had them to win the division. I probably should have thrown a little extra on them. I could have cashed out big time. But yeah, so I think it should be a fun game 6, and hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully we get a game 7. I actually hope Milwaukee closes it out, but I certainly won't complain about more basketball to give me something to do while I'm sweating my baseball.
Yep.
All right, guys, check out TrueDFS.com for my bets of the day. I'll include stuff from this, including prop bets and all that. And yeah, Sheets, anything else before we get out of here?
Nope.
All right. Good luck to you, everybody out there. And we'll hopefully see one of you tying with 100 people to win it all tonight. Maybe it's Sheets. Maybe it's.
Maybe it would. Hey, it's fine by me.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
All right.